Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live, talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynn@pghcitypaper.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Hey there, welcome to yet another edition of Lynn Cullen, Still Alive. And it is a Tuesday, August 25th, and Susan should be joining us. Hi.
Hi, I like that name, Lynn Cullen, Still Alive.
Yeah, right. Hanging in. So, Susan, you did not watch the convention?
I just thought I would I didn't want to contribute to their numbers, not one little bit.
Yeah.
I watched I think I watched Below Deck Mediterranean. I was intent on not watching. And then I slipped over to Love It or List It on HGTV.
All right.
I know,
well,
I didn't. I have been reading about it, and all that made me feel was very grateful that I chose
hadn't watched it.
Yeah.
I watched some of it. Oh, dear.
I watched Donnie's girlfriend yell at people.
Oh, my God. That was inexplicable. Here is a woman who, in an empty convention hall, was screaming at the top of her lungs as if she didn't have a microphone and as if there were hordes of people before her who were like making noise and she had to be. It was the oddest thing. And she and he, Trump Jr., looked so, a lot of people on social media have been saying it, it looked like they snorted like, half a gallon of cocaine.
Well, people are saying she sounded coked up and he looked stoned.
Whatever, they didn't
make a good impression because
they didn't look normal, I'll tell you. And
I didn't realize she was. Yeah, I didn't realize.
No, I knew it, but how the hell Gavin Newsom, the governor of California?
That's his ex-wife.
Oh!
But she looked different then. She had to grow
much.
she's got this long Republican hair now. Republican women apparently have to have long hair.
She has a Fox News look now.
Oh,
that's what
okay.
happened.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what happened. And she, during her speech, tried to make herself into the child of immigrants when her mother, and she said, my mother, born in Puerto Rico, blah, blah, blah. As if she didn't know that Puerto Rico, you're not, what the I don't know.
She's trying to start her own birther story.
Oh, my God in heaven. And then somebody said, that the Democrats, had all these people of color, and the Republicans showed last night that they have plenty of people of color, and they mentioned Kim, the woman ranting at us. You consider her a person of color?
Well, she's a brunette.
And then Nikki Haley, who is of Indian, and then yes, the black senator Tim Scott, who
well, there's three.
Yeah, there's three, and he actually.
If we but that's counting the brunette.
Well, that's true.
She's Puerto Rican, so.
Oh, there you go. So she's not only not American, but she's like, yeah, right, whatever.
She can claim to be brown.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so listen. So the the roll call of the states, which they all have to. This is what they did yesterday. They had to nominate Trump. And so a representative from each state, did their little song and dance and then gave their votes to Trump. And the things these people said. All right, let me give you a few. The guy from Montana, representing Montana, said, we are effectually calling it Trump-tana. We fish, we hunt, we boat, and we have at least 5 guns in every home. Can you imagine
No.
that that's the way you would
No,
characterize?
because I really love Montana.
Well, that's.
Don't
You
do that to that beautiful place.
Oh, well, I didn't do it. Trumptana. And then, let's see, Arizona. And, yeah, our votes go to Donald Trump, who flattened the China plague.
In Arizona?
Yeah.
They're so hot that they sizzle.
Yeah, I know. Here's Colorado. In Colorado, too, they're giving their state's votes to Trump because he protected us from a worldwide pandemic. And he went on. Oh, no, this is Louisiana. Louisiana. These are all three states that have been devastated. Right?
Well, they're also, Colorado now is blue. We'll see. Isn't Louisiana blue?
They got a blue governor. I don't think Louisiana's blue. I don't know. Here's a guy from Louisiana. Joe Biden's hiding in the dark, waiting to take the lives of our unborn babies. Jesus H.
Well, I got news for you. Trump's in his bunker, and he's already killed 170,000 of us living souls. So let's keep our eye on the current prize, huh?
Yeah. Arkansas. Oh, God. Yeah, the state gave Donald Trump a 30% margin of victory over former resident Crooked Hillary. And the crowd cheered. And then the head of the New Hampshire delegation is none other than Corey Lewandowski.
Oh, God. How did he get from Missouri to what, New Hampshire?
I don't know, but because he wanted to run for office. So wait a minute. Corey Lewandowski was a former campaign manager of Trump's campaign. Yeah. So wait a minute. He's one of the campaign managers who is not currently under indictment or in jail.
No, but I think he was he was much hated in Missouri. I'm not so sure he didn't get indicted there for something.
Well, no, but stop and think of how many campaign managers.
Oh, all of them. It was qualification.
How many people have? You got Paul Manafort. He was a campaign manager. He's in jail.
Right.
You got
Steve
Bannon, who's been indicted, and you've got Lewandowski. And you've got the other, I guess the fourth would have been.
Wasn't that Gates
Conway.
Guy was in his? Yeah, and the Gates guy was in his campaign. Was indicted.
It's beyond belief. Whenever you get in bed with this guy, you're essentially a dead man. Or a dead woman. He kills, destroys everything he touches. You look at talk about American carnage. You look at the people who took an active role with him, who are now in jail, indicted, or finished off in a million other ways. It's unbelievable. So Lewandowski, as head of the New Hampshire delegation, had the most repulsive, I think, lead into casting his votes. He says, New Hampshire, home to actor Adam Sandler, poet Robert Frost. Boy, giving Sandler billing over Robert Frost is a little odd there, too. Adam Sandler, poet Robert Frost, and New York Times best-selling author Corey Lewandowski.
Oh. Well, yeah, that's him.
Oh, God.
That's him.
It's just beyond belief. They are so god-awful.
They're just repulsive. And there is nothing more important than each of them to themselves. I mean, nothing. And how silly of anybody to suggest that or think that of them.
So,
so listen, I just want to say this because I think it's important that I say this. Happy birthday to my firstborn, who is 40 years old today.
oh, happy birthday! I didn't know that. Thanks for reminding me. I never know anyone's birthday.
Well, that's
40.
Okay. 40. I just thought I'd say that because it will internally resettle your innards.
Well, you know what? He was born as I was coming to Pittsburgh.
Right.
So I always sort of get when I think, well, I've been in Pittsburgh for 40 years. I mean, most of my life.
Yeah.
And Arlie is like right there in that period. God. Right before I came.
Yep.
So, have a few little things here.
Okay. I just wanted to stop talking about Trump. That worked.
Okay. Well, not really, because I'm heading right back in.
Okay. Did you watch the McCluskeys? I want to know. I want to know.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But their whole speech apparently was just warning us all that they were doing they're coming for the black people are coming to the suburbs, and apparently the preceding their remarks, there was a video of cities burning and black people rioting and the kind of that's what, and it's just.
Speaking of which, Kenosha burned last night.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
And, I got to say, sure why it shouldn't. At what point do police officers
get it?
Armed men, in this case, that was trying to break up a dispute between two women.
Right.
Why did they shoot the black man in the back 7 times? I don't get it.
Shooting into the car
with 3 kids,
with his 3 children in the back seat.
I don't get it. I do get why Kenosha a block burned down last night. That makes total sense to me.
Well, for people who say that these protests, I understand protests, but they shouldn't turn violent and turn into riots. Well, you know what?
Why not?
An arrest should not turn into murder or an effort to defuse a situation. A domestic shouldn't turn into murder for a guy who did nothing. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It really is. I mean, I just you look at it and you're going, he did what?
Yeah.
He did what today after what happened those days ago and those days ago and those days ago?
It's like, well, it just shows how it's in the bones. It's just in the...
It shows that we have trained these people to behave in this fashion, that it is autonomic. It is automatic. It is not brain. It is muscle memory. They have been trained to do this. This is why we have people saying that there's something fundamentally wrong with the police departments, because if that's how they are trained, that their brains are short-circuited and they go straight to muscle memory, we're in trouble.
Well, we're in trouble because they see a black man, even with his back turned to them, they see a threat to themselves. Black men equal threat, and threat allows them to shoot.
The training is deficient. The training is deficient.
Well, not only is the
That's
training
the kind
deficient.
of thing I'm going to say.
Yeah, but the training is deficient, but so is whatever psychological screening goes on and who they're taking in as police officers. You got a lot of racist bully boys who want to be the cop who gets to shoot people. Those people do not belong on a force.
You agree. I agree, but I mean, it's.
I know. I don't know. Well, it ain't over. I mean, But when you the black men will continue to be hunted because they feel hunted. They are being hunted.
That's right. Didn't LeBron James say that? Stop hunting us?
Yes, I feel hunted. That's right. And speaking of LeBron James, by the way, he's picked up on something I had thrown out as a great idea. I'm so glad. I think it was I first had seen it as an idea tossed out by, I think, Tom Friedman. I might be incorrect about that, but it was that there are a lot of young people who aren't in school right now, who don't have much to do, and what they can do is step up like people their same age did in World War II. He made the remark of those soldiers who stormed the beaches at Normandy were about the same age as a lot of these college students who are sort of in limbo right now. And they died, coming to the aid of their country. And so it was suggested that why don't a lot of these young people who are not as vulnerable to the virus, why don't they become poll workers?
Yeah.
Step up, because there's a real lack of poll workers right now because the poll workers tend to be old and they're scared. And that's why you got, for instance, in the Wisconsin primary, you had Milwaukee going from 180 polling places to five. And that same thing, that reduction of places to physically go, will be the case in November unless we get poll workers. The best possible place to get them are young people who could step up now and be part of this, this fight for our democracy in a way that doesn't in any way endanger them like those soldiers who went and fought and risked their very lives. So LeBron James is he announced, I guess yesterday, a multi-million-dollar initiative to increase the number of poll workers that will be aimed at young people. In collaboration with the NAACP, they're looking to recruit young people to serve at polling locations in mostly black communities in swing states.
And this is a great idea for all of these college kids that, aren't where they expected to be or in school the way they expected to be. All you need to be is 18 years old.
That's right. And you have to do some training, and then you have to work the polls that day. I'd do it in a minute if I were one of them.
I would too.
So if you know any young people, tell them, do it. My problem is that the young people I know all have jobs, or I don't know that they have the time to do it. Maybe they do.
No, but they can spread the word to friends of theirs that they know do.
So that was good, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see what else I got here. I just got a little bit. When I said that everything that comes in touch with Trump, goes down, I'll give you. Look what Trump has essentially done to the Conways. Kellyanne and George.
I know. I mean,
and their family.
How do you think? What did you think about their negotiated stepping back at the same time, so that
Well, I think I think it's good. I think it shows that for once, when somebody says I'm leaving to take because of my I need to spend more time with my family, that they're telling the truth, right?
And that they both do, and they need to.
And that they both do, and even though
children.
I think she said we don't agree on much,
right?
But we do agree on this. And their daughter is a cry for help.
Yes. The first time she went online, it was I don't care what she was saying or whose side she was on. The decoding of it was, "Would you two please stop this? Help me."
Yeah. Yeah. And she's filled with rage against her mother mostly, but also
But she also
father.
loves her mother.
Yeah. That's interesting. She's in touch with that. But, yeah. So there's that. And the good news is Kellyanne stepping away will hurt Trump because he does rely on her. But here's somebody, got to do Falwell.
I was just going to say, and on a lighter note, and I do mean lighter, on a lighter note, he's refusing now to resign. Why? Because he thinks it's going to make him look bad?
I can't imagine. He's probably just, what is he, in denial? He can't believe it. Everything is, it's just unbelievable. So
now there's this little rule among the on the page 3 of the Hypocrite's Guide to Christianity, and on page 3, number 5, bullet point, it says, "Do not appear in a picture with your arm around a woman, not your wife, with both of you with your pants unzipped." It's just on. I promise you, it's on that page. I saw the rule.
But here's the thing. This Jerry Falwell Jr. story is...
with him lurking in the corner watching his wife and that very handsome pool guy. My pool guys never looked like that.
That's a pool guy. But you see, up until even yesterday, before the pool guy blew... Reuters is the one with the pool guy who blew it all out of the water.
It just cracks me.
But this SOB Falwell was blaming it all on his wife.
Right, and he was lurking in the shadows.
My wife had an affair. Like he was, had an affair, so I could, get off in the corner watching her. Whoa.
Or watching him, as the case may be.
Well, that's true, too. But here's the thing.
He was a very good-looking pool man.
Yeah, he's gorgeous. There is a story.
Oh, excuse me. He refers to him as their business partner.
Oh, yes, it's his business partner. He was 20 years old when they recruited him. Okay, so what I wanted to tell you, which is...
That was our daily dose of schadenfreude. Okay, go ahead.
The New York Times, in June of last year, so a little over a year ago, did a really long story. And the story was focusing on why Falwell, who had been in Ted Cruz's camp, abandoned. Shocking, the Cruz camp, by the way. They thought they had him. And they were going to roll out before Iowa this big, he's the get, if you want that evangelical vote. And Cruz's campaign was blown away because Falwell comes out and endorses Trump. Now, why did that happen? Well, it's unbelievable. Guess what? All these names are going to come back. Michael Cohen, Trump's fixer.
Fixer,
had one of the pictures, had a picture of Falwell, the Falwells.
Doing something on page 7. number below 0.4.
Yeah, something they weren't supposed to do. And in fact, this news, of course, gets back to, excuse me, God damn it. So what actually happened
Is Michael Cohen.
Cohen got the pictures, and he told, it was made known to Falwell, hey, we got these pictures. We'll sit on them. But you got to do this for us.
Yeah, of course.
So he was blackmailed by Cohen into supporting Trump. And we sort of knew parts of this because in the 2019 New York Times article, which also mentions, by the way, Tom Arnold used to be married to
Right, and
Roseanne
remember
Barr.
he was all over when Michael Cohen was going down, saying
that's
that
right.
he had
He was
all this info.
over Cohen trying to get.
Yeah.
And Tom Arnold, the comedian and actor, has taped a meeting he had with Michael Cohen in which Cohen refers to the photos.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
I wish I could, and I can't find it. But I had the yeah. So I mean, they are just, this is like unbelievable crime. They blackmailing people, going after, holding this. You wonder what, you got to wonder what, for instance, somebody like Putin has on Trump, because you got to believe that.
Right. Well,
there's
that's how he
similar,
learned how to do this. Right.
No, I think he learned how to do it from Roy Cohn.
Oh, well, that's true. I forget.
No,
I forget his pedigree.
Yeah, I mean, stop and think how schooled he has been, in that this is the way you get things done. And so Falwell, not trying to protect himself from his kinky sexual exploits, drops Cruz, endorses Trump because Michael Cohen, and it's right on the tape that Tom Arnold has, got the photos and used them to get the endorsement. Unbelievable. What extraordinary, vile human beings. Oh.
Vile. There's a good word.
Okay. Guess they now just say it's KFC is the proper.
Right, finger licking is out.
Yes, Susan's always right ahead of everything. There it is. KFC has decided to, not get rid of its iconic finger licking good slogan, but to shelf it, so to speak, right, for a while, because they realized that finger licking doesn't seem like a good idea these days during a pandemic, when you're not supposed to stick your fingers.
Speaking of which, I got a COVID test yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
The one where they stick a big thing up your
Yeah,
nose?
I was terrified, by the way. I mean,
Yeah.
I just drove up and waited for that stick to go in. Well, either I have a large Jewish nose.
It didn't bother you.
Or it doesn't go up that far. I mean, she went to the back of my nose and swabbed all around real good, but she didn't go. I thought, I was expecting her to go up,
Yeah.
uncomfortably high, and either she didn't do it right or it wasn't that bad at all.
Well, that's good. So you don't have your results yet.
No.
And how long are they going to take?
She said 2 days at the most.
Well, that's good.
But I'm only getting it to, as a I'm assuming I'm going to be a negative test. I'm just getting
Yeah,
it.
you're getting it because your daughter's coming to
because
visit.
my daughter's coming to visit, and so we're all gonna. They're tested, and we figure Mother doesn't have to be because if I'm fine, she's fine, and
no, you don't know what Mom's been up to when you ain't looking.
No, I don't.
Mm-hmm. You never know. I'm just saying. So, what else do I have here?
I won't steal your punchline. Go ahead. I'm just always so relieved when I've read whatever it is you're going to talk about.
No. Have you seen? Okay, so the Postmaster General appeared before a House committee yesterday. Did you see any of that?
Nope.
Okay, so
I was reading about it, though, yeah.
Whoa, there is this wonderful back and forth with this woman. I just love Congresswoman from California, Katie Porter.
Oh, yeah, Katie Porter is just one hell of a great lawyer.
Oh, man.
I mean, if you want a lesson in what a good lawyer looks like and sounds like and acts like, watch that woman.
Yeah, she can take down anybody in a second. So she took him down. It was wonderful. So here she has the Postmaster General, and she says, so can you tell me how much a first-class stamp costs? And he said 55 cents. She said, that's correct. Can you tell me how much it costs to mail a postcard? That was his response.
Right, I know.
Blank. And he said, no. And, okay. And then she goes on to a whole other. Can you tell me what all these sort of basic things of the department he runs? And he doesn't know. He doesn't know any of it. And he says, look, I'll stipulate that I don't know these details. And, and she's saying, these are details of a department that you are in charge. It made him look like a fool.
Right.
A fool.
How can you dismantle it if you don't know the
you
basic
don't even know the first thing about it?
Right.
Exactly. And it was really
and
good.
They are destroying those sorters
they're destroying them. That's
so
right.
that they cannot be put into commission,
No.
and they're destroying it quickly. And I think those people need to be put in jail.
It's
unbelievable.
unbelievable.
This is committing waste on the taxpayers' assets. Deliberate waste on our taxpayers' assets.
Why would, if you have a machine that works faster than a human being at sorting mail, and it is functional, it works, have they given any explanation of why you would take those out? Why? The only explanation you could think of is to mess up the system and to slow it to a trickle. I mean, what possible?
Or they were obsolete and being replaced, even as we speak, by newer equipment, which we know not to be true.
Yeah, that's not true.
That would be the reason to do it.
No, but there is no because I just don't understand how you can.
They're
going to
claim that there's less first-class mail now, so we don't need all of those. But that's not true because there are always peak times when the same amount of mail is always there. Like as postal employees have been saying loudly,
Christmas,
which we handled just fine. Thank you.
Also,
that's people sending out 80 letters at once instead of one ballot.
I finally remembered to look at my phone. I have been really remiss. Callers call, and I don't even know they're there. I just looked. There is a caller.
Oh, my God.
God knows how long. Okay. Caller, hello. Hope you haven't been there for a while. Hello.
Hey, Lynn, it's Jonathan. I just called, so I wasn't
Ooh! You got lucky.
Susan, I adore your sister.
Yeah, I like her too.
One of my favorite humans on earth.
Aww.
So two things. First of all, a quick little anecdote. One of my best friends, moved to California years and years ago. She and I were talking over the weekend, and she was mentioning Katie, and
Porter.
I said, wait, are you? Yeah, I said, wait, are you talking about Katie Porter? Yeah. It turns out they're close friends, and she said, well, I thought I told you that. And I said, no.
Wow.
I was so starstruck. And, well, she was telling me they were scout troop moms together and how warm and wonderful she is, and told me a story of a few years when Trump won. And my friend was so just devastated. And she and Katie were at an event together, and Katie pulled her aside and said, listen, I see you're upset. I want to tell you something. I'm running. And
that's what made her run. Trump's election.
Yeah. And I just, whenever she's on TV, I will watch. She's amazing.
She's amazing.
In fact, somebody posted a little clip on Twitter yesterday, said, here's the reaction when you find out you're going to be questioned by Katie Porter. And it's somebody jumping out a window.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So here's my question for you guys. From what I can see, Kellyanne is still scheduled to speak on Wednesday.
Yeah, she's still working until the end of the month. Yeah.
You think, well, the speech is what really set her daughter off. I mean, that's what made her go ballistic.
That she was going to speak at the convention.
Yeah.
Yep.
You think she'll still go through with the speech?
Yeah.
I think, too.
Too bad. Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah.
Well, I guess she will, but if that's the thing that's really torturing her daughter, her 15-year-old daughter, you would think maybe she would say, I'm leaving anyway. I'll take a pass on making the speech. If this is what's really, I mean, it, like one of you said, it's a cry for help. This daughter's posts.
Oh God!
What was that Meatloaf song? I will do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Yeah. I guess that's
there. There you go.
I guess that's it.
But we'll find. We'll find out. When is she scheduled to speak? On Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking tonight, and I cannot wait. Tiffany.
Beelzebub. Oh, Tiffany. Oh.
Tiffany.
He's letting her on stage. Oh, that's very
He's
generous.
letting her on stage, Tiffany.
Not with the A-team.
Not with the A-team.
No, certainly not. Certainly not.
And, of course, Ivanka they must be on the last night. Ivanka and Jerry, I don't know. And Melania is speaking tonight as well.
Yeah,
from
Michelle,
the Rose Garden, from the
writing
newly
the
refurbished Rose Garden that she decimated. Have you seen what she did?
It's terrible. I'm surprised she just didn't rip everything out and make it a little putting green for.
Well, it sort of looks like one now.
It sort of looks like it.
They took trees down. I'm sorry, trees.
They took all the JFK crabapple trees down. They were crabapple trees.
Oh, crab apples.
But
Beautiful flowering.
Perfect. In a way, it's perfect because she destroyed all the color and joy. So it's,
Well, remember her Christmas decoration? Remember the Christmas decoration?
The bright red.
Was it red or was it black? I thought it was red.
It was deep red. It looked like a bloodbath.
It did. It looked like the what's that? The Game of Thrones wedding thing. It was just blood.
Right. Exactly.
Jesus.
All right. Well, great talking to you, too.
Always good to talk to you, Jonathan.
Okay, I'll share my system with you anytime.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Jeez. No, what I don't understand is, doesn't she get any guidance at all, what a stupid thing to say. But what she was ripping out and throwing away was history,
was a lot of what Jackie Kennedy had put in.
Well, and others, I mean, going back for a very long time, a lot of those rose bushes that she pulled out were planted by, people generations before that. I mean, it was not, everything in there meant something.
Well, she meant something too.
Right. She wanted it to look like a Hampton Inn.
God almighty. So, I got it for those who didn't see it. There's some doctor in Fox Chapel, right, suburb right next to Pittsburgh, essentially, who has these amazing yard signs. I want them, and they say they're Pittsburgh specific yard signs. So Susan, the Heinz ketchup is from Pittsburgh, and
I'm aware, yes.
So one of the signs says, "Trump likes Hunt's ketchup." Another, "Trump hates pierogies," which is like big ethnic food here. Okay. And then in Pittsburgh, people stick chairs out on the street to save their parking spaces.
Right.
It's called Pittsburgh parking chair.
Right.
And another one it says, "Trump moved my parking chair."
It's like the Mexican Mexican ex-presidents.
Oh my God!
Can you believe that?
No, but he's been trolling Trump for.
I know,
ever.
But I mean that one was just funny.
God almighty. Well, you see, in that respect, Trump is the gift that just keeps on giving. I mean, he is such a buffoon, such a fool, such a awful person that, I mean, it's so easy just using what he gives you.
I know, but I mean, I just read someplace that they're saying that last night had something like 5 times more watchers on C-SPAN than the first night of the Democratic convention, and I'm going, yeah, but Trump base doesn't watch C-SPAN, for crying out loud. That's horrified Democrats, right?
Yeah, I would think. They're watching Fox. And actually, that's what I watched. I thought, okay, and I realized I shouldn't because I gave him a rating point. But
that's why I wouldn't watch any of it.
I know, but I thought I want to watch Fox just to see. And they even cut away from stuff. By the way, when Trump, so I thought Trump was doing primetime speaking engagements coming on at 10 every night. But yesterday he surprised everybody by coming in after the roll call vote. And that was it. That was his speech, which was an hour of lies. And it's so funny to see how papers characterized it. Here's the New York Times. Mr. Trump's stew of false claims, hyperbole, and invective dismayed some Republicans. Yeah, I bet. So here's what happened. As the president was speaking, CNN literally pulled the plug and went to John King. Was anchoring at the time, and they pulled the plug, and he said, "This is a sad thing to say, but a lot of what you have just heard from the President of the United States is wrong, misleading, and outright lies." And then he said it again: wrong, misleading, and outright lies. CBS also pulled the plug at one point. MSNBC carried his entire stew of lies.
Did they put like a red bar across it?
Well, they did try to do real-time on-screen graphics, saying incorrect, wrong, this is not right. And Chuck Todd, who I cannot stomach, said after, I guess they played at NBC, and then he said he ticked off just a fact checks saying, and then said this speech was filled with so many made up problems about mail-in voting that if we were to air just the truthful parts, we probably could only air maybe a sentence, if that much. So the networks really are, and of course when they do that, that just makes Fox News, which carried it without interruption or correction, it gives them fodder to say, crooked media and media is, is enemy of the people, and they've never done that to a president's, speech before. But
yeah, well, we've never had a president quite like Trump before.
Never had one like this.
And he doesn't like Fox News anymore anyway.
Yeah, he thinks they're part of the, I guess, heading into the deep state. So wait a minute here.
And now we how about all those doctors that can't even believe the way the FDA misrepresented the study
the
about
test on the plasma.
Yeah, they just made up a number. I mean, people are going, where did that number come from? That's not true.
Right.
That's
So, and I'll tell you where this is going to get us.
Dead is where it's going to get us.
It's going to get us back in real trouble. To see the FDA and the CDC and all of these institutions that are supposed to protect the public and the public health, to see them caving to the politicization of their missions is really frightening. And now the commissioner, the FDA commissioner, late yesterday did concede that he had overstated the benefits of plasma as a treatment. And that's because he was appearing at a press conference over the weekend with Trump. And when they're in Trump's immediate sway, they start lying because they're scared shitless of him. And then they end up having to walk it back after they're, away from him a little bit.
Right.
And
I shouldn't have done that, they always say.
Right. So that's what he says. He says late last night, I've been criticized for remarks I made Sunday about the benefits of convalescent plasma. The criticism is entirely justified.
Yep. Because a third of the people, and this incredible number on its success that he's citing, were people that weren't on ventilators. They weren't very sick.
That's right.
And they were all young.
Right.
It was a very small cohort. So, you have no idea whether, it was just a piece of nonsense.
Right. But this is what we're going to get. Henry writes, what I saw last night were cult members. Yeah, it is. It's so clearly that. Cult members worshiping their leader. That was not a political party convention. Well, the very fact that they don't have a platform, I'm sorry, Henry, I see that's what you've written. The fact that they are completely void of a platform is indicative of a cult. Whatever the leader says. I mean, it is.
When they announced that with this straight face, that there would be no platform this year, we don't need one, all we got is Trump, you thought, okay, we give up.
Yeah, that's it. And that 40% maybe of the American people think this is, wow.
Well, now when anybody, trumpets Trump's policies, you can say, really, what policies? Point to the platform.
What's a policy? What's a platform? Right, exactly. What? They offer nothing. What they're offering is fear. What they're, the cities will burn. They're, to listen to Trump Jr., commies.
Yeah, commies. Who's in bed with Putin? Where are all these commies, I'm asking you?
I know. What? Who writes love letters to, the North Korean? And
they've just
Jesus.
gone back to page 76 of Roy Cohn's handbook now. Commies.
Henry, right? I know.
No,
I'm
go ahead.
let Henry have a word in here, too.
Okay, go ahead, Henry.
Even back in the days of, say, Newt Gingrich, we had fear-mongering, but nothing like what we heard last night. Back then, they would try to scare you with promises that your taxes would increase, but last night we had promises that Joe Biden would take away your religion, literally keep you from being able to worship and lock you in your house. That was fear-mongering on an entirely different level. Well, the Republicans have always trafficked in fear. You think of FDR famously saying the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, because of what fear can be manipulated to do. And the only thing Donald Trump knows of fear is the only hope he has of re-election is to stoke fear. That's their platform.
I know. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Yesterday we had Roger had talked about going to Home Depot and getting into a bit of an altercation that involved the police being called because a guy wasn't wearing a mask and Roger had asked him to, and no one at the store would help him. And I said, well, maybe you should go to Lowe's. And then we get this from Tom, who must work there. Lowe's policy on face masks is similar to Home Depot's. Masks, wipes, hand sanitizer are at the entrance. We employees can offer a mask, but we can enforce nothing. So it's the same as Home Depot. And then this employee says, what gets me is most people do have masks on their faces, but half of them don't have their noses covered. It's like wearing a condom with the tip cut off.
I know.
All right.
So I as long as we're talking about masks, and for all you people that have like masks that are too hot and that but you've bought them and blah 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 blah, and I bought a mask online that added just a piece of fabric sewn inside on the inside that would go against your nose, a piece of fabric just straight across there. Now, when you put on that same mask that you've been wearing, you flip up that piece of fabric and you put that on your nose. It goes straight against your cheeks, so if you wear glasses, your glasses fit on top of that securely. Then the actual mask starts further down on your nose, is held firmly in place, and it gives you more breathing room in front of your nose. And I'm just going to suggest that a lot of you could put that little fix onto your masks yourself and make them much more comfortable. A piece of fabric straight across the top part on the inside, which will then flip up and go over your nose.
I don't know if everybody understood that. Where'd you get the mask?
It's from a vacuum company called Starks, STARK''S.
Okay.
And they're very nice masks. They're cool. They're moisture resistant. They aren't.
You know what I like in a mask? Masks that just have a loop for your ear, around your ear. They don't work for me. I got the skinniest head in the universe. They're always too big. I need masks that have those little, that you can shorten that.
Right. Yeah.
And I wish they all had that. Damn. Well, unless you have a.
Well, you can.
A regular size face.
You can buy some of those things, and then all these smart ideas that people have. Some guy was going, what do you do when you sneeze into your mask? And then you go, oh, what do you do if you have to see? So some man wrote, well, I always wear two masks, a disposable paper one and then the cloth one over. And I thought, wow, that's so smart. It's like a panty liner, So
Jesus. Oh, God.
These are just all ideas, folks. I have a feeling that this is the way we're going to live for a very long time. So if we find good ideas or we find things that work, I think we should just share them, and let's try and short circuit. Let's reopen the what I used to call the Mother's Guide to Easy Living, because someone's figured it out. Everybody should stop trying to reinvent the wheel. If you hear a good idea, pass it along.
Well, really, obviously, yeah. Oh, boy. Well, let's see. So, Republicans were always great at, remember hurricane hits Florida, and they were saying, and they always blamed it on gay people down there. Well, they had a gay pride parade, and
right,
it's
it was
God's way.
God's mad.
Right,
God's very mad right now.
Well, I'll tell you, if God must be just
very pissed off.
He's like getting to Sodom and Gomorrah levels of rage, because we got what? You got California and the unbelievable fires, and you've got the hurricane heading toward Louisiana and Texas, and you have the pandemic, and all of this, and Kenosha burning down now, and people in the streets, and all
by
of
the
this,
way,
as
flooding
the president,
everywhere.
And by the way, too, Trump will be giving his speech right about when this hurricane slams into, an area of the country with millions of people in it who are going to be running for their lives during and it ain't going to be good.
No, and how often have we seen God literally draw an X on a map where hurricane trails were going to cross one poor beleaguered part of the country? I mean, how often does that happen? Yes, I would suggest God is very angry. And some of the people that he's angriest at are those people that always are saying he's angry at somebody else, because those are the people that are the most hypocritical. Those are the people that, get their pictures taken with their zippers down and watch their wives lurking in the corner as they have sex with the pool guy. Yeah, really, and pay off their porn stars while they hide their taxes. I mean, these are the good people. And we folks who think that maybe you shouldn't have to have a gun all the time because you're so afraid, we're the idiots.
Well, that is correct, Susan.
I know. I got it. I figured it out.
Dear God in heaven. We're not going to have the COVID thing today. It's delayed, guys. Although the movement has been really good in the right direction. I have another little story here. This has to do with Michigan. So a 20-year-old woman has a heart attack, apparently. 20-year-old.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. I read this.
Yeah. And the paramedics came. They tried 30 minutes, CPR. They think she's dead. Emergency room doctor confirmed she's dead. They called her mother. They said she's dead. We sent her over to, a funeral home. The funeral home, she was put in a body bag and goes to a funeral home, and they were about to embalm her.
I.e., start withdrawing her blood.
And they noticed she was breathing. And, in fact, she was looking at him. God! So it's that failure to treat it, who knows what damage she has suffered because they didn't. So she's in I imagine the ICU now somewhere.
Yeah, but they don't know whether they.
Yeah,
don't know
she
whether
could really be
totally brain damaged.
Yeah, she could be brain dead. Unbelievable. 20 years old. Dear Lord. Wait, I got another. Well, we got a bunch
Just in case anybody thought it was going to be a happy-go-lucky day, Lynn and Susan are here to start it off right.
Well, we can't help it. I got a bunch of stuff here. I got emails, so let's just get through them, and then we'll have to. Milton writes, "Hello to both of you. I'm vexed as to why retailers are having an issue enforcing mask policy. I understand that employees are in a tough position when confronting non-compliant customers, but the retailer could simply state that if you are non-compliant during your visit, then you simply will not be processed at checkout." That is right. I saw a video the other day of a woman who kept refusing to do, and they said, well, sorry, we can't check you out. But I guess the concern is that
someone's going to shoot someone.
And the other concern is they're going to miss a sale. Let's be clear about that, too. Right?
I think they'll miss more if people are afraid to go shopping because assholes won't wear masks.
Milton says, nobody is going to spend time in Home Depot not wearing a mask only to be prevented from checking out with their carefully procured merchandise. Well, yeah, these guys are not stepping up like they need to. And Roger, who set us off on this yesterday because he was the one at Home Depot, he says, I just thought of this when you were reading the email with Lowe's policy on masks. If employees are told not to confront non-mask wearers, what is their policy about confronting shoplifters? That's a good one.
Right.
It's not okay to steal, but potential killers are allowed. Roger says this is driving me crazy.
Why do they get in the store? Just don't let them in the store. Or do they wear a mask and then take it off once they're in the store?
I have no idea. And a big thing with the Republicans that they're going to use is the liberals' cancel culture, which is such a riot because nobody has created a cancel culture more than Donald Trump.
I don't know what you call shooting people unarmed.
That's the ultimate cancel. But I'm thinking of what? Goodyear tires? Tell that to Goodyear tires.
Yeah, right. Well, that backfired.
Tell that to Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could go on and on and on and on. He cancels. A day doesn't go by that he doesn't cancel out whole companies, whole communities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. And they're going to try to make this about
whole states. He has
states.
canceled whole states because he thinks they're, I don't know, blue.
Yeah, and the enemy.
Yep.
And Bree, writing from Malaysia, where he got those civets under control. Did you hear about that, Susan, where he thought he had rats in his attic, and in a desperate effort, he thought maybe the sound of my voice placed near the ceiling would send them running. Yeah, it would send them running. Like playing noxious music. Right. And it didn't work. But it turns out they weren't rats; they were civets, and they have been gotten rid of. But he says in Malaysia, everyone wears a mask. No mandates. People just know to do it. Well, that's a cultural difference. Bree, you've been out of the United States so long, you forget about we Americans are individuals, and we have individual liberties. And having to be told to do something, why, that's communism. That's it. And the fact is, Malaysia will not have the deaths that we will have. And they don't. Because
the interesting thing that it's communism and fascism. They will argue both sides. So, the whole disgusting thing about people wearing masks with swastikas on them,
yeah. Well, what's interesting
it's
too is
not
that
a gas chamber; it's a mask.
Republicans keep calling Democrats communists and they call them fascists.
Right, both. We can't be both.
Well, they'll call us, and then QAnon, at QAnon, we're vampires. We're cannibals.
And pedophiles.
And
Mostly
pedophiles.
we're pedophiles. We're all pedophiles.
Yeah.
What is their fascination with pedophilia that we're all pedophiles?
I don't know. Or, Jesus, they are so busy. Gotta go. So
I was just having fun talking to my sister. Okay, goodbye.
Okay. Well, bye. Thank you. And guys, I'll be back tomorrow because I don't have anything else to do. Be safe.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.